All right, so there's one. So everybody else get 4119 on your registration?
No, sir. I don't have 4119.
No, sir. Same.
So you don't have it on your registration? Hello?
No,
I
sir.
sir, no.
No, sir.
So how some students get it and some get it as well? So you need to send me a list then for registration and send me a list for Moodle. Because I see like 3 or 4 students would have had Moodle. When you look at the list, you only see 11 students, which is supposed to be now almost 30.
Wait, sir. Shiv, when start talking about registration, you mean in current student, right? So I think everybody's supposed to get it when you register for third year. So did you?
You understand? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Sir, I trying to explain to Shiv.
No.
Yeah, but do you have on your registration, did you register or did you see registration for ELE4119 come in and ELE3108 come out?
Sir, I just get the emails for about 4119, but nothing else. I just get the email.
What the email state?
It's you got outstanding course group enrollment for the following course. It come on the 15th.
The 15th is not just now, it's a couple of days ago. You need
Uh-huh.
also to check on your registered courses. You're not going to see the list of courses you're registered for.
Uh-huh.
Check see if you see 4119. Anyway, so between Anne-Marie, Parbo, Stephen,
Yeah.
y'all need to work this out and get this list to me, right? Probably during the break, try to get it sorted out. Because the longer you guys take, the longer you can get the Moodle or the registration sorted out. So the idea was registry was supposed to change out 3108 and 3208 and add in 4119 and EMN for the 100. That's how you can balance back your credits.
Yeah, sir. I seen those changes in my current student.
You seen the changes? Anybody else not seen the changes?
Yeah, I seen the changes. I just check it.
But when that changed? Friday as well?
1
15th would have
second.
been Friday. Friday or,
Yeah,
or Sunday, right?
the 15th. It's showing the 15th.
All right, good. So that
Sunday.
means Mr. Shiv date would have been correct. All right, so again, work through that list. One list is registration. Those who have not changed, well, if you're in register, or if you're in apply your application and pass it, you can't register. So that's another story. Mr. Kevin got started out with registry. Whether the payment, whether the forms, whatever you got to sort out, you got to get done. And I would advise you to do that quickly because you might even make graduation or get your name on the list if you don't sort it out. Right? The other part now is when you get registration, could you check, Stephen, if you get access to Moodle?
In Moodle, I still see in 3208, like they didn't take it out to Moodle because I don't have access to 4119.
Oh, good. So then that is the problem then.
Yeah, this is the problem in Moodle.
The Moodle. Good. Well, so again, I need a list. Just contact Anne-Marie and she got some. You had a list of your group. So we can combine the two and all the others who Anne-Marie couldn't get onto. So we can have one list. Name, USI number. And you can send it to me the earliest.
Yeah,
right?
No problem.
All right, good. Thanks. All right.
Sorry, before we start, I got a question though. Right?
Yeah.
Everything for me changed. I seen for 119. I ain't seen 208 no more. I seen EMN for 100. Right, good. This is good. But before the changes, I had completed my payment, right? And the next thing you know, when the change had happened, I'm still partially paid. So does that mean that whatever I had paid for
All right,
32
check why. Whenever you get a problem, you need to check why to know where's the issue. Where's the issue? Is it a 6 credit replace a 6 credit, or is it 7? The management is 7.
Well, what I saw right before was the 3 credit course was the 4119, and that replaced the other one, right? Which is
Mhm.
not a three credit course, but the EMN is not 3 credit though.
All right, there's 4.
Yeah,
All right,
and
good.
that one replaced another course, but I don't know which one.
But that replacing 3108,
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah.
right? So
I think
if you're
so.
gonna,
He'll the partial pay is the difference you got pay for the course because the EMN is more. It's 27,000 I think, and the previous was 18,500. So you
All
just
right,
got pay the
well,
difference.
but if is the right, but then the thing is, right, the money that I did pay for 208 would that be
yeah, you just gotta pay
offsetting?
the difference. You just gotta pay the difference. Now you're not gonna pay back for 4 credit. You just or 7 credit. You're just paying the difference, which is
even
one credit.
even when I go to fourth year, I'm gonna pay the difference, though, right? Because the 32
No,
eight
you're not gonna
already
pay
paid.
less now.
Good,
You're gonna
No,
good.
pay less
when
now.
you go to fourth year, you got pay back for 3208. The money you already pay in
3108 and 3208.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, there's
Well,
basic stuff, man. What you got to have with Mr. Parbu, Mr. Who Sohail?
no, remember, I gotta make sure, because here, I had it seized with boys already, so I really want to go back to down the road again.
No, you got to go. I mean, you can't stop if you got to go. But the point is that it's supposed to be a straight account to the books. We showing that EMN is a 3 credit, but account to the system is a 4 credit. So it's better for you in terms of the credits. But anyway, it's I mean, probably bad that you got to pay the extra now. But next year it would have come in the same thing. Usually it's around 300. How much y'all come up with? 300 a year? Thereabout?
About that.
288, 280, 290, whatever.
Do it
Right?
something close to, yeah, close to it.
All right, good. So do what you gotta do. It's all gonna happen, it's gonna come back out next year. The
Okay.
other part, I think who approved today? What is my name? Philip. Mr. Philip. I approved your thing not too long. And I did not see 4119 and I still see you in this class. So you need to decide if you want it added on. You hearing me? Philip, you hearing me? Philip Duki.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I hear you.
Good. Well, if you want it added on, you got to go to registry and ask them to do that for you.
Okay, okay.
Because I guess you may not be seeing or you just see fourth year course when you're registering.
No, when I registered, I didn't see in a 4th-year courses, but what happened? I didn't see 4119 because I did show and she said oh she ain't seeing it either for register for it online, but she told me she said that we gotta send our names and USI number to her.
All right, good. So you're on the right track. You're on the right track.
Yeah.
Good.
So, yeah.
So do that.
So
Anne Marie and Stephen gonna take charge of these 2 lists: registration and Moodle. Right? And probably you could get all in the class and just put Moodle and registration and just star them which one is which one. So you ain't got to do 2 separate documents. Right?
Okay, sir.
Good. All right. So let me get rolling. All right. So today we want to move on, and because of that, saying again, I see an assignment in 3 different locations: UOG email, MCanI, Yahoo email, and WhatsApp. And that can cause confusion. I don't like that. And then you gotta come back to submit and did this and and putting me in trouble. And I ain't like that headache. Moodle everything that's be there. So I prefer it that way. Anyway, From the course outline, we start with our force. Our objective now is to move on to DC, which we're going to do today. And hopefully next week we can close this off. The other part of the assignment that you didn't submit, or I didn't force you and push you, but you need to remember the table we would have looked at in Rashid, where they compare diode rectifiers,
Yes, sir.
the difference with all the power parameters. You need to at least get a summary of that. I mean, it's going to be helpful. You already got it in your assignments, or at least a simulation. You can just pull long voltage current and just put them in the formulas. The small formulas, them is your key formulas, that you could evaluate which one is better and why. And if you're choosing different, you're going to need to evaluate all of them at the same angle, right? So if you're firing one at 5 degrees or 10 degrees, you need to fire all at that same angle to compare. Everybody clear what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
If you fire them at
Yes, sir.
different,
Not really, sir.
all right. If you fire the thyristors at different angle, you can't compare apple with apple. Clear?
Okay.
Good, because they're going to be firing at different angle, they're going to be operating differently. And therefore, I want to say it's not going to make proper sense. I didn't hear you properly.
I thought if you're sharing the screen, you're not seeing anything.
Somebody just repeat. Who is that?
Sir, she
Me?
said, sir, she said if you're sharing your screen, we're not seeing anything. But I don't think you're sharing anything yet.
Okay, yeah, sharing. All right. So we on to the second topic. We can skip DC to AC, which is inverters, and come to DC to DC. Because when we come to inverters, we want to move straight from whatever voltage straight up to AC, right? We don't want to use transformers. Transformer day is done for at least inverters. Transformer gonna be reserved for other things, control voltages and what's not in the plant, or if you want high tension transformers for power circuits. But for these power electronics, we want to try eliminate the transformer. So let me do DC to DC first. So when we do DC to AC, we can take other options, right? Good. So we're looking at heart. Chapter 6. Right? All right, good. So when we have a thyristor, it is very similar, having a variable, some supply that regulates because of our transistor. And if we use a thyristor, it regulates based on our firing angle, right? Good. So what's happening is that we need a switch to operate, which is a thyristor. We're operating it as a switch, and it's either closed or open. If the switch is closed, right? Our voltages is high across the supply, right? V supply are open. If the switch is open, in a sense, it's open, the voltage, well, this would be closed. Now, if it closed, the voltage comes down to zero, as we would have seen previously. Now, what's the point here is that we are operating an angle, which is what we call some time on and time off, right? So despite it's open, it takes some time to reach when it's fully on, and then again when you turn off, some time before it goes fully off. And we would have seen that. Now, the thing about these switches or these thyristors, if we have some time and it's expressed as a frequency, or we are operating these switches at a certain frequency, 1 kilohertz, 2 kilohertz, 10 kilohertz, and you understand what I mean. The switch going up and down and creating like a pulse, right? What's happening is that we have two denominations: time, the total time for one cycle, and the time when it's on, the time when it's off. So if we combine time on plus time off, we get D, or we get T. And the amount of time on and time off per second gives us what we call duty cycle, right? So we're going to explain this duty cycle. It's just the amount of times you go on and off, or that's the frequency, but the amount of time it stays on or off. Like if we say a motor operates at 80% duty cycle, that means 80% of the day it can operate. It means it needs 20% of 24, 2 by 24, 4.8 hours it needs to rest a day. And as we were talking before, that was the difference between when we operate something on prime and standby. Prime means 24/7. The duty cycle of 100% means 24/7. Duty cycle less than that means it got rest time. Everybody clear?
Yeah.
So time when it switch is closed, when it's open, is denoted by T, is the total cycle. So you got dt for when it closed and 1 minus dt. And how you get that? I'll make somebody co-host. So if you see anybody coming in and I'm not letting them in, you can let them in. Anne Marie. Co-host, yes.
So you could turn off the meeting room, you know.
I ain't get you.
You could turn off the waiting room so they could just come in.
I think we want to do that, but at least sometimes I just want to see who coming in. Because there's one address site as we're using, so sometimes third year come on, second year, different people come on. All right, good. So we got, let me take V out is a function of VSD, right? So we got Vs is input, V out is wherever across, you can get plenty more branches wherever. V out is wherever denoted as out, right? Notice R ain't got nothing to do with V out. Clear? Is Vs and V out and D. D is the duty cycle. Good. And D is equal to time on upon time on plus time off, or time on by T, time on plus time off equal T, and T, 1 upon T is F. Everybody clear, right? Nothing fancy. All right. Now we got 4 different converters, so I'm going to go through them, and then we're going to start the build today, trying to get one right, and then we can move on to the others next week. Right? So again, what we're talking about here DC supply and DC output, right? Everybody clear? So
Yes,
the
sir.
SCR can't work here now. Which one we gotta use? So we're looking more at the GTO, MCT, IGCT, and all of them, right? That can use DC supply. All right, good. So buck. And if you use this word carelessly, you could get a charge, you could go to jail. So we understand in this context what this means. The buck converter is a step down converter. So that's like how we got step up transformer and step down. Similarly, we got step up and step down DC converters, right? Now, let's analyze this. Good. So the buck converter, and then this is when the switch is here. When the switch is on and off, but which switch is this again? There's a thyristor switch that we will operate at whatever frequency we want, right? Whatever frequency the question asks. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Everybody clear?
Yes, sir.
Good. So this is not a manual switch now. This is a thyristor. And of course, we can trigger it externally and what's not. You already learned some of that. Good. Power supply. Now you see plus, and you got a minus. This now is a DC supply. Diode in reverse bias. So what does that mean? When the switch is closed, this diode is reverse bias, so this become open. Clear? Power would then flow to your inductor, capacitor, and output. The voltage across the capacitor is the same voltage across the output because they're in parallel. These two in parallel in series with the inductor. Right? Now, what goes on here? When this switch is closed, current flows through inductor, capacitor, and load. Right? Everybody agree with this?
Yeah.
When the switch now is open, what happens?
It's flowing through the diode.
What flowing?
The
DC.
DC, yeah.
All right, somebody else take a try. What happens when the switch now is open? Supply is dead, so we're not
The
getting nothing
diode-
from the supply.
The
Or
diode is
the-
not forward bias.
So is
How
the
diode?
stored current in the capacitor.
Good. The capacitor storage now started discharge. Right? Capacitor started discharge voltage. Inductor started discharge current. Comes through the load. Take the bottom leg, come through the diode, and this cycle goes on. Right? Good. So remember we said an inductor is a current storage and a capacitor is a voltage storage. In DC circuits or in DC circuits that operate at high frequency. At low frequency, they're going to operate as open circuit and short circuit. Capacitor is open circuit, inductor is short circuit. But at high frequency, story change. Right? We've been through this already, so that's not something new. All right, good. So this would be our first circuit we're going to build and try to get the operation. So what is important in this circuit is to understand how we get V out as DVS, and then how we calculate these. Well, the voltage to the diode, they're gonna be according to the rating of the circuit. And remember we said we're choosing twice 2 VM. Then we got inductor, we got know where's the size of the inductor, where's the size of the capacitor. And of course, the resistor determines the load, or the load determines the resistor. Clear? Everybody clear?
Yes, sir.
Good. So I load for the buck converter. Let me start. I for the load is what? Or I inductor rather, sorry. I across the inductor is really what? This total current from the circuit, right? Which is given by VL, the integral of 1 upon T. All right, IL of T, and the voltage across the inductor is given by that. Why? Because the inductor is more of what? In DC circuits is more of a
So,
current storage,
current storage. Yeah.
not really voltage, right? And IC is 0 because the capacitor don't really deal with current, it deals more with voltage storage, right? We can take certain assumptions. The input power equal the output power, right? And we know that is not always the case. That is ideal. But in regular, nominal, non-ideal conditions, PS equal P out plus losses. So there are certain assumptions we'll take. The circuit is operating in steady state, meaning it's going all the time. The inductor current is continuous. That means the inductor is so chosen, so sized that although the switch is off, current still flowing. Clear? The capacitor is very large, so if by the switch open or close, power go into the load, right? And the voltage is held constant. Good. The switch is operating in period T. The switch is closed for time dt and open for time 1 minus dt. So this is given, right? This is what we have in the first instance. And the components are ideal. So that means no losses, but we know that is not the case. But we can just work as though they are ideal. So the analysis for the force, when the switch is closed, right? VL is equal to VS minus V out. Right? V across the inductor is equal to VS minus V out, Kirchhoff law. Kirchhoff said the supply is equal to the sum of the voltage drop. These two in parallel, so they got the same voltage. So V out plus VL equal VS. Therefore, VL equal VS minus V out. Agree? Everybody agree?
Yes, sir.
Good. So, and we know VL is L di dt, right? That's from the controls, we know that. And therefore, if you bring over L, you get Vs minus V out upon L equal di dt. And for every change in current, now what we're talking about change, where we get change in current, Vs minus V naught upon L. So this is how we get change in current, change in time. So we move to dt. Common dt, which is denoted by change in time, to capital dt, which is noted as duty cycle t. Everybody see this? And the IL, change in current now, is when we get minimum minus maximum. Right? So if we're having voltages and currents, the current will operate with a range about some central point. And this is from the capacitor now. Capacitor will charge up when the switch is closed, and it can discharge when the switch is open. Charge up when switch is closed, discharge. Charge up, discharge. Everybody clear? But it's not allowed to reach to 0. So this is one method how you deal with current harmonics. You can choose large inductors. And to deal with voltage harmonics and ripple factor and all of that, we deal now with capacitor, we choose an oversize. Everybody clear? And now we're dealing with XC and XL. You know what we're talking about impedance. We're just dealing with storage, current and voltage, right? Good. So again, voltage moving up and down, positive to negative, current moving in a range, right? From the inductor, voltage moving due to the capacitor. Now when the switch is open, what happens? Right? When the switch is open, V out, this supply gone, so V out, or Vs now becomes VL in this sense. The supply in, right, is equal to these two in parallel. So this plus this equals 0. Everybody agree? Voltage drop across inductor plus voltage drop across these two is the same, right? And this plus this equals 0. Therefore, this equals this. VL equal V out. Everybody clear?
Yeah.
Good. So VL equal minus V out. Well, the two of them add equal 0. So when you carry one over the equal sign, it becomes minus. And it becomes L di dt. And you got through the same thing. Minus V, you bring over L minus V out upon L. So now this when the switch is open. Change the IDT, move to change, move to now. Where's the time for when it open? Where's the DT? 1 minus D, right? There's the time for when it open. Right? Close is T or DT, and open is 1 minus DT. Right? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Good. So 1 minus dt, L, and then we get delta I open is V out upon VL, and you bring over this 1 minus dt. Right? So we get maximum when